Joining us now for more on the Chinese economy. We're joined in our studios in Singapore by Warren Hogan, Chief Economist from ANZ Bank. He's based in Sydney and joins us now here. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Warren, first of all, an economy that's very resilient. It's expected to grow by more than 9% despite tight monetary policy and the weak Eurozone and U.S. economies.
The very, very strong results we're likely to see. 9.3% is our forecast. These GDP figures today should send a message to the broader community that the Chinese economy is largely a domestic economy. Most of this growth is coming from domestic investment and domestic consumption. Net exports play a reasonably small role in terms of China's growth. If you want to see a big slowdown in China, it's going to have to be driven by domestic factors.
And that is what Western economies want, that the domestic consumption expands rather than the export market. And this is where you'll have consistency in terms of economic sustainability.
Yeah, sure. And I think that's part of the rebalancing of the global economy, which is a very long-term proposition, is that we need more consumption from the Chinese consumer, in fact, from the Asian consumer more generally. But that's a long-term proposition. Right now, I think what the world needs is actually just growth, full stop. And we're going to get it. The consumption numbers in China are going to add about half of that 9% growth, and the investment will add the other half.
All right. You have 9.5% in the previous quarter, potentially about 9.3% in the July to September quarter. Are we likely to see then the Chinese central bank tightening monetary policy again, because inflation is still a problem above 6%?
Yeah, we're getting some evidence that inflation's peaking out, and I think they're going to take some comfort from that. But I think they're as concerned about inflation right now as they are about the potential effects of a slowdown in Europe in particular on their economy over the next year or so, and they're balancing those two forces. So, they'll probably do nothing in terms of policy tightening, and they've got flexibility. So if they do need to tighten up a little bit more because the inflation story isn't good enough for them, then they can do that. But of course, if we get a big shock to the global system because of a problem in Europe, most likely a big disorderly deleveraging of their banks, then the Chinese can cut policy, whether that's fiscal or, more importantly, monetary policy.
In your view, has inflation already peaked in China?
We think it's peaking right now, and it's the degree of moderation that'll be key for the Chinese government over the next year or so. It doesn't look like we're going to get a lot of moderation, but yeah, we think it's peaking about now.
What about the appreciation of the Chinese yuan against the US dollar? Are we likely to see it at least in the 6 to the dollar level, because currently it's at about 6.35, 6.37?
Look, I think that trend will resume once markets settle down, assuming markets settle down. I think they will, and that sort of upward pressure on their currency will continue. So I think we're heading there over the next year or two for sure.
Warren Hogan from ANZ Bank, thank you so much for your insights.